button. Okay, it's Donna Landy, and it's May 9th already. We've already been doing this program for a month, actually over a month, and I've been seeing fabulous results. And I want to just start off definitely with some exciting stories that we were just talking about, things that folks are trying that we want to make sure that you are also doing as well. So why don't we start with Samantha? Samantha, tell us about what you were saying, what some new things you've tried and how you booked 4 parties in the last couple of days.
Okay, so I was saying earlier, I just started using the drawing slips that Jason talked about, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, into my virtual parties. I actually went back to some of my old virtual parties, just recent ones, and I said I would offer another prize if you filled out this drawing slip. And I got a lot of responses. I think like 30 people filled them out.
Wow.
And I had like 7 people interested, and I already booked like 4 parties from that. And I also started doing my customer care calls, which I've never done before. It's a little bit nervous, but I did get a couple leads too from that.
So when you made the customer care calls, tell us a little bit more about that and maybe what you said and who you were calling.
It was a party. It was one of my wine, cheese, and chocolate parties I did recently, and I did the call after 2 days, I think, to let them know that their items will be shipping soon. And then I called again tonight. Well, this was like a couple weeks ago, and I called again tonight to let them know that, or ask them if their items shipped okay and that they still had 30 days to return anything if they wanted to do that. And I just asked if they would be interested in doing a party of their own. I let them know their host got $190 in free products, and they were very excited about that. They're like, oh, wow, we didn't know she got that much free stuff. And I said, yeah, and you could do it too if you really wanted to. So I had some people who said soon that they'd like to host. I didn't get any booked right away, but I do have a couple people to call back in like the next month or two.
Awesome. And yes, the 222 that Claire talked about a couple of calls back, it really works.
Yeah.
And folks are excited to hear from you. Isn't it a good feeling?
Yeah, it is. I was a little nervous, but it went really good, and everybody was very nice and happy that I called. So thank you for calling. It's so nice. And yeah, it went really good.
Absolutely. And don't forget about that 30-day money-back guarantee, basically, that we have where we will pay the shipping. You want to make that call before then, okay? You want to make that call 2 weeks out just to remind them of that. And I got to tell you, they're really happy that you do, number one. And number two, I do get very frustrated when they call me after the 30 days, and then I feel bad that they actually have to pay. So, kind of, even if it's just an email, if you don't have time to call, even if you just do a quick text or a quick email and reach out and just say, hey, I just want to check, how are you enjoying your things? And I just want to remind you if you're, need to exchange or return anything, the 30-day guarantee is going to be up soon or whatever. Not that we want to encourage people returning things, but we just want to, let them know that opportunity is there for them. And it gives you a reason to talk to them again, right?
Yeah.
And of course, they think of it like fabulous service and that you will be their Pampered Chef consultant for life. So thank you, Samantha, for sharing that. Congratulations and good for you. That's what it's all about, trying some new things. Really, really, you get results, you will. Sometimes you just have to take that little step and do it. Okay, and then we had heard from Karen, and I wanted her to share because she went out of her comfort zone and traveled 2 hours to a new area. And what happened, Karen?
So actually, this is an installation where Claudia was quite active there. This is where she lived, and she was very active there a couple of years ago, grew a team, but everybody moved. So they haven't really had an active consultant there for about a year. And let me tell you, these ladies want their Pampered Chef. Like, they were like, oh, Pampered Chef. And I'm like, yeah, I'm here. And they're like, oh, I need to have a party. Okay, let's have a party. So, it's just, it was amazing how receptive everyone was, because they haven't seen the new product. So, I had like our new stoneware. Oh, the stoneware's gray now. Oh, I like the gray stoneware. Ooh, and seeing a new catalog and things like that. So everyone was very excited.
So you said you got a new consultant in that area. So it sounded like you were very strategic in looking for someone since you couldn't keep driving 2 hours.
Yes, I let everyone know right from the get-go, hey, if you know anyone who's interested in becoming a consultant, I would love to have for you guys to have your own consultant here again to do this. I said, it is kind of hard for me to travel back and forth. And I said, and I'm leaving in July. So I was very intentional with that right from the get-go. So when I did the vendor event, I showed like all the free products, the incentive this month. I had that laid out all together with the sign behind it. So they knew, I mean, this is what you're going to get.
Have that at your shows? Yeah, absolutely.
So,
And you know, Karen, I was just talking to your director about this same thing this morning, so I have to share this because those of you who are not near a military installation, maybe you're like, well, this doesn't apply to me because, you know, I don't go on military bases or I'm not going to recruit that way. But, you know, a lot of times you are traveling out to do a show an hour or 2 hours away. And why do you do that? Well, you do it to grow your team and grow where they are. And one of the things that I always do, even if I'm just going to a new neighborhood, or maybe I haven't been in a neighborhood in a long time, I'll say to the host, you know what, I haven't been in your neighborhood in a long time. We need some consultants in your area. You know, are you interested in learning more about a Pampered Chef business? Because we sure could use someone out where you are. Or do you know someone? Okay.
right.
So you see how that really applies everywhere. And especially if you're traveling far. But anytime you're in a new area that you don't have consultants, it's a new area that you're developing. And the other thing I think I heard you say was about the products that you'll get and so on. And sometimes we forget to tell people how much we make at so-and-so show. Like we say, oh, well, she got $200 in free product, but how many of you are letting your host know or letting potential recruits know, you know, at Sally's show, I made $200 just for going there for a couple hours and having all that fun. Is that something you would have some interest in? Do any of you do anything like that?
I usually let my host who I'm trying to recruit, like this one right here, I was like, okay, so, you know, I let her know if you sign up, this is how much you're going to make. Because she was deciding whether she was going to do kit credit or whether we were going to turn the show into her launch show. So, you know, she, of course, decided to turn it into her launch show because it was a much better deal.
Sure. And it always is. It always is.
Yeah.
But sometimes, you know, taking the kit credit is more viable for people that are on a budget conscious.
Right.
Well, good. Awesome. And I just think that you should think of every new development, every new city you go to as I'm looking for people in this area. Like I've actually been branching out a lot in the last month or two, couple months since I've been in this Lead Plus program, you know, doing 8 shows a month, and I'm traveling an hour and a half. And that is my conversation with every single host. I am strategically looking for people in every new location. So I want you guys to be doing the same. Okay, I want you to think about it like that. Basically, you're starting a new franchise in every new city you go to. How about we start thinking like that? Does that sound exciting?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Donna, I post at the end of all of my virtual shows how much the host got in free rewards and how many half-price items, and that seems to be a good booking tool as well.
Absolutely. You know, and I don't know, and I think if there's any recruit leads there, since we're talking recruiting today, too, that I would personally email them and just say, you know, just for Sally doing this party, I made X amount of dollars. You know, if you're interested in a virtual business, this is what you can earn too. So I really don't think people understand what they can make both in virtual business and cooking shows.
And I definitely capitalize on that. People that say I can't afford to place an order right now, I tell them, you know, A, you could host the show, or B, you know, the best deal is our kits, and you know, you can get $400 or $500 worth of product for a significant discount with no downside, really. I mean, you never sell $1 and you still get to keep the kit.
Absolutely. And, you know, I just saw some new calculations. How many of you are using the 30-day challenge form? You know what I'm talking about, the 30-day challenge, where it's Lydia Martin, actually, from our team, was the original person that developed that, but it's been all over the place. So depending on whatever kits you have, it shows you what you will get when you invest $99, $159, whatever it is, in your kit, and you do $1,250, and how much you'll make. Okay, and actually, with an average of $600 for shows for $1,250, I don't know, it was like, or 4 shows. If you do 4 shows, try it out for 4 shows with an average of $600 a show, you make about $500 something dollars. I mean, that's like really awesome to just try this out, right? So if anyone that wants to see that, post it on the page, and I'll go ahead and post some of the 30-day challenges. Anyone else have something to share on how you're sharing host rewards or recruiting benefits or income? I can't stress enough how important it is to talk money when you're recruiting. People don't, they do start for the product, but what really gets them usually is the potential income. Few people work, for free, or money is always like on their mind. And I want to start off actually reminding all of us of what our goals are. And, we started this program saying that there would be an 8-show challenge for those of you who are up for the challenge each month. And because 8 does make you great. And I want to share with you what directors that do 8 shows or 9 shows were making last month. And these are directors, not upper level. These are directors. So we had one director did 8 shows, made $2,310. These guys work full-time jobs and have families and busy lives. But, 8 shows is part-time. So an extra $2,010, how does that sound? And sometimes we think, okay, well, I'm doing 4 shows, but the stretch from 4 to 8 is actually not hard at all. It's almost easy at that point. It's getting to 4, I think, is usually the hardest in this business, going from like 2 to 4. But once you go from 4 to 8, you get to 8, you're on a roll, you have systems in place, it actually becomes a much easier business. And here's another director, did 11 shows, okay, so she was doing maybe 3 a week, and a lot of them were virtual. $2,714 she earned. Full-time job, family. And here's another gal, she actually has, I think, 3 jobs. She did 9 shows, director, $2,489. These are people on our team. These are real people. Some of them are probably on this call right now. Here's another director, 8 shows, $2,809. What do you think about that? When you think about how many shows you're doing right now, maybe some of you are doing 4, maybe you're doing 6. But the reality that if you just stretch to 4 more shows, that you could be bringing in $2,000 to $3,000 for your family, how does that make you feel? Anybody? Because these are real numbers. These are real people. I'm not going to tell you who's who. You can probably guess on a few of them. But I know, right? Does that make you excited? Because it should. Because that is why we're here. I mean, yes, we're here to promote to Director by Conference and to get all of the benefits and rewards and enjoy all the celebrations and all the perks. But the bottom line is, this business changes lives. $2,000 a month will change your life. $4,000 will change your life. It does change a lot of people's lives, and it can do things for you and your family that you've been wanting to. So I wanted to take a minute here and just remind you of that as we get into the next 2 incredible months, May and June. May with our Help with Cancer. This is a huge month with the 60 off bonus for your shows. And June with double host rewards over $650. If you have 8 shows in June, you are going to see some of those big checks. Absolutely. Because your hosts are going to be working the numbers in June. So I can't wait to celebrate some of you next month when 8 makes you great. And also I will have special bonuses and rewards for those that do that. So I just wanted to remind you of that, because it's crazy the difference between 4 shows and 8 shows in this business. Just crazy. Anyone want to share? Do we have any directors on here that might want to share? Okay. Go ahead. Here's someone. No one? No?
I'm not a director, but I can tell you what my first 90 days was like. I made probably almost $3,000 in commission and got $900 in Pampered Chef dollars, and totally beefed up my collection and was able to donate about $1,500 to nonprofits around my area. So it was an awesome 90 days.
Absolutely awesome. And you know what? That is a story to be told and shared with folks, because again, they just don't realize all that's available. And the fact that you did it all from your home and didn't even really have to leave your house to do it makes it even that much more attractive. Not to say that, I mean, I still love my cooking parties. I do. And I get easier, faster results, but I've done this for a long time. Those of you who are coming on with great computer skills and knowledge, you're going to be the next Donna Landys of the online world. So thank you, Jason, for sharing that. Absolutely. Because that, we are changing lives. And 3,000 and all those PC dollars and all those rewards, and your first promotion too. I know we just promoted you to senior consultant, and I know team leader and director is real close at hand. Yay! I know, it's exciting. So today I want to talk about recruiting outside of shows. We talked about, and we've kind of touched on this a couple of times, but last week Julie did an amazing job of talking about host coaching and recruiting at your shows. And if you missed that for any reason, you want to go back. In fact, you want to go back and watch it again and again. So many great tips in there. I loved it myself. I needed to be reminded of some of the things I had abandoned myself that definitely work. And that's why Julie is so successful. And as a matter of fact, she was one of those almost $3,000 checks that I just read to you for doing 8 shows. So, but this week I had posted the Scavenger Hunt. How many of you, the picture on the group that has the little dots, the red and green dots, how many of you have seen that before? Raise your hand if you've ever seen that before. Okay, so did anybody, do I need to pull it up on my screen for you to see it? Or you guys all saw it there? Or you want me to pull it up? Okay, so hold on, let me just go to share screen. And okay, so right now, you're also seeing all my Facebook stuff too. But here it is, the weekly model. And what that is a tool for you to start thinking a little out of the box with who your potential recruits are, okay? Everywhere you go, there are people that would either benefit from what we have as far as our products and our services, or can benefit from income. And so we want you to go through this list and think about it. Who do you know that just graduated from college in the last 5 years? Most of them have college debt that they would love to pay off. Who do you know that's a waitress or bartender? Can we help them make more money per hour? A lot easier? Absolutely. Who do we know that maybe wants to stay home with their family and be able to work from home? Anyone have some credit card debt? Or someone's talking about a home project, wanting to do an extension, or maybe they want to build a swimming pool. Or who do you know that's an empty nester? We actually have a few of you on this call. I'm now an empty nester, and I got to tell you, your life changes so much. This is such a wonderful, positive thing to do with your new time. Who might have lost their job recently? I actually signed someone this week. Her husband was going to lose his job, and she wanted to pick up some extra income, but couldn't. She works a full-time job and couldn't actually, I think he was just going to lose hours or something. So she was planning ahead. And she just joined on and she's so excited. In fact, her kickoff show is next Saturday. So she signed on today and her kickoff show is next Saturday. Who do you know that has done previous direct sales? There are a lot of direct sales companies that have closed their doors this year too. Mishi Bags recently is one of them, but there's several direct selling consultants that do multiple companies as well. And because they know that's the best way to get out the products, right? Or what about teachers? They're all going to be off this summer, or some of them are, and they're going to be looking for some extra income. In fact, that's why a big chunk of our consultants, we have a lot of teachers on our team. Do we have any teachers on this call? Let's see. I can only see a couple of you. But so anyway, I'm not going to go through every single one of these, but I want you to be thinking about them and make some notes on them. And your first assignment for the week is to go through this list and to try and fill it out completely and to ask them, tell them why you think they'd be great at this. Share the experience that you've had. Just like Jason just said, I started this 90 days ago. I can't believe, in that time I've been able to earn $3,000 and 900 Pamper Jeff dollars. And I would just love to share more info about this. Is that anything that do you think we could get together for 10 minutes or could we talk about it for 10 minutes and share some info? Because I think you'd be great. And listen, there is no obligation. Okay. So how many of you ask people and have been setting up interviews? Do we have anyone here that's been setting up interviews regularly? Raise your hand. Okay, so yes, let me hear from you, Erin. Yay. So how do you set up those interviews? And I'm going to use the word interviews, but to some people that's a bad word. But
no, I've had a couple in the last week or so with that I set up with Claudia, but I had one yesterday that I'm actually super excited about. It's a friend of mine who she had to recently quit her job because she has chronic illness and it's left her with very crippling symptoms that makes working unreliable for her. And she and her wife are actually at risk of being evicted right now because they're behind on their rent. And she's fighting, desperately fighting to try and get disability. They're having to hire a lawyer to advocate for her disability case, but she's frustrated with not being able to work because she's a hard worker and, they're at risk of losing their home. So I was sitting there the other day and I was so mad. I was like, I can't help her because I'm not in a good financial position myself at the moment. And I was like, there's nothing I can do for her. And then a day later, I was like, yes, there is. So I messaged her and she knows Pampered Chef. She loves the product. So I was like, I don't know how you feel about this, but what would you think about joining Pampered Chef? And I brought up the point that my own health problems and needing something flexible that I couldn't get fired from when my health decides to go kaput on me was one of the reasons that I joined. And we got talking, and she'd had a bad experience selling Young Living. So her wife was a little bit skeptical at first, but we addressed all of the issues about the differences and how the companies work. And she told Claudia and I today that her wife is totally on board now, and she'll hopefully be signing Friday. So I'm really excited to have her coming on.
Well, and I hope that just now a light bulb just went off in many of your heads on how, yes, you can change lives. You have such a valuable gift to give to people, okay? And you never know. You happen to know Erin, her story, but you never know what the stories are sitting in your audience at your shows or online. You don't know. And sometimes, like I said, the extra $200, $300, $400 is so life-changing. It could mean the difference between bankruptcy or not for many families. In fact, I think that's still a statistic that most families that do go bankrupt, if they were making an extra $300 a month, usually they could get by. So we just don't know. So we just have to ask, and we have to ask everyone all the time. And so the whole purpose of the Scavenger Hunt is to make you aware of all the different leads that you see every day. So how many of you looked at that list and thought of, at least 5 to 10 people right away? Anybody? Yeah, I hope that many of you did. You should. If you're having trouble filling out that list, you should call your director or call me, because we probably need to get you either more involved, meeting more people, or just helping you to think out of the box there a little bit. Because this business, everyone should at least hear about it and learn about it. Doesn't mean everyone's going to sign. And the calls only take a couple minutes. You can even set up Facebook conversations with your director. But don't forget, each week that you set up interviews, you're going to be in, of course, the drawing. And it's not about the drawing. I mean, think about what you're doing to help people. But we're doing the drawing to remind you that it is a gift that you give to people. And it is an important habit. One of the most fundamental habits of directorship is setting up regular interviews. Eventually, you're going to be able to do these completely on your own, and many of you can do them now on your own. But we're asking you to do them with your director just to be 100% sure that we're giving you all the training, all that one-on-one training that we could possibly give to you. Okay, so let's set up at least 2 interviews this week and use that scavenger hunt. Anybody nervous about that? Anybody just... All right, so tell me more. Tell me what's nerve-wracking. Do you not need the words to say? Do you not have time? Do you not know anybody on that list?
So I can talk a little bit about this. I have she was a past host for me. I've been trying to work with her for probably a month. She had an awesome party. But she just keeps saying, because I keep saying about doing an interview call, what other questions does she have so I can help her make this best decision? And she just keeps saying, well, I don't have any questions about it. I think I know everything that I need to know. So I just don't quite know how to get her to just make this phone call, and then maybe with myself and my director, how we can really get her ready to go, because she's a CNA. She works a lot of overtime. So I'm just not quite sure what wording I should use for that.
So if she can't make a decision, then either yes or no, then she still has questions. So what I would do is just say, okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you as far as making your decision to do this? And if she says 5, 6, then you can, of course, just say, well, then it sounds like you must have some more questions or concerns or something. How about if we just take 5 or 10 minutes? I think they think it's going to be some long drawn out thing. 5 or 10 minutes to chat with the lady that helped me get started, because, she's been really successful and she's helped me. And I think we can get your questions answered. And that way you're making an informed decision. There's no obligation. If you decide against it, I understand. But I just really think, what if you'd be great at this? Don't you want to know all that, don't you want to know? And I think that's what we have to do with folks, is just sometimes people are non-committal. We just need to get them to a point where we can answer their questions and also ask the right questions. Sometimes it's not about answering their questions. It's about us knowing the questions to ask them, to dig out the information that makes them understand how this could benefit them. Does that make sense? Because not everyone knows that right up front. Most people right up front only think of, okay, I want this deal on the product. I'm going to try it out for 3 or 4 shows. But they're not thinking about, wow, I could stay home with my kids. I could pay for vacations. I can earn a full-time income doing this, whatever. Okay, so does that help you? Yes? Let me know if that helps. Anybody else? Anyone have concerns about just asking for folks to set, we have to get these objections out, these fears and objections. I need to make sure you're comfortable with this. This is what we do. This is what directors do. We share.
Donna, I feel like I could be too pushy, maybe, because pushy and passive at the same time, because I'm easy to take no for an answer, or like if they really give me an excuse. I don't know. I usually have a problem coming back at them with something else, and I know that it's usually better if you come back at them with a question to ask them why, but then I feel like I'm being too pushy.
Okay, so some words might be helpful, and we can definitely do some additional training on this on future calls, because I want to make sure we keep our time on there. But do you think that would be helpful? Because again, if it's about you and you getting a recruit under your belt or reaching directorship, then you may be pushy. You may not, but you may be. But if it's about them and what this business can do for them, and that you firmly believe that you can help them, that they're going to be better tomorrow for trying this than they were yesterday for not, if you believe that, you can never be pushy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So sometimes we have to just kind of look at, who is it about? Is it about me or is it about them? This scavenger hunt is all about them. It's not about us. When you look at the people that we've listed there, those generic people, it's all about finding needs. It's about them, right? Or challenge me. I'm up for it.
I have some of the same reservations about being pushy, especially just starting off in the business and working mostly with friends or extended family. Not wanting to jeopardize those relationships by being too belligerent. And I was actually talking, I approached somebody today about she's already expressed interest in hosting a show next month, hopefully when her schedule has a break, but she works multiple jobs. She goes to bed at like 8 p.m. so she can be up at 2 a.m. She works in a bakery. She has a small son. And she's so hardworking and stretches herself so thin. And I was like, this would be so good for her. And I mean, she has her own private catering business as well. I was like, Pampered Chef is just like designed for her. So I was trying to talk to her about it. And I guess she sold, Tastefully Simple in the past, and had, liked the products, but it became too much of a headache and there was too many demands and she couldn't keep up with it. So I was sort of like trying to casually illustrate some of the differences and how Pampered Chef isn't demanding unless you want it to be. And that, it's so flexible and can fit kind of any time schedule. And she was just really adamant. She was like, I would love to work with you, but I cannot do this. And was just very definite. And I'm sitting here on the other end so frustrated because I'm like, if I can just make her see, if I can just make her understand. But again, that whole not wanting to be belligerent or pushy and not sure how to.
If we feel like we're selling them on it, then you are. But if we instead ask them, if I can show you how I can save you time, make you more money, give you more family time, and how simple this business is, would you at least hear it? Okay, so we're not signing them. We're not trying to sign recruits here. We're not. We're trying to get leads and give out information. They will sign because we have an amazing opportunity. But that's where you end up getting pushy, is where you feel like, I've got to convince them and I've got to sign them. That's why we want you to continue to set up these interviews, so that we can help teach you the key questions to help identify people's needs and how we can best help them. Does that make sense? Okay.
Can I say something about that real quick?
Mm-hmm.
I think just like a good key reminder for that is when it's about us getting a recruit, we tend to get pushy. But when it's about what's available to them and what can happen for their lives, then we usually get excited, and it's not a matter of us being pushy. So if you feel like you're being pushy, I would just take literally a split second and say, am I concentrating on what I want for them, or am I concentrating on what they want? because if it's what they want, then you're not going to be being pushy.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. Sometimes you just have to visit this. And I am happy to have this conversation with any one of you anytime. Certainly if you're dealing with this as a challenge, where you're not comfortable asking and reaching out just to set up informational type interviews, then we really need to talk, okay? Because we have to help you get over this hump and help you see the difference between recruiting for you versus recruiting helping people. But I think you guys got it tonight. So your assignment is the scavenger hunt. Now I posted one more thing and I want to wrap up. You guys have seen it before. It's the monthly tracker. We haven't really had you do this on a regular basis. But now that you have been with us for a month, and now that you have been keeping track of your shows, now you need to go back and look at, how did I do last month? I did 4 shows. How did I do? How many outside orders did I have? How many came to my parties? How many recruit leads did I get? How many bookings did I get at each show? How many of you do these type of trackers every month? Raise your hand if you do a tracker every month. And it's kind of like your report card. And isn't it important for you to know how you're doing so you can look at areas of opportunity for next month for improvement, as well as, I mean, you're going to look at it and light bulbs are going to go off before we even look at it, right? But there are certain things on there that we can't see in our reports. Like, you know how many outside orders, you know how many people came to the party, actual versus other orders. And they're really important. So I'm going to challenge all of you to fill that out for last month, okay, for April. Go back, look at April, put all of those in there, and then put all your shows in and track them for May and June as well, okay? And then be sending those as well as your contacts, just a picture of it, to your director each week. Okay, so any questions? And I am sorry, I guess in my excitement to answer questions and really dig into some things today, some important things, we're over a couple minutes. I did want to just add one more area of training for you. On PCU, there is a whole section on recruiting. And if you haven't looked at it, it's pretty amazing. It talks about recruiting in shows and outside of shows. It gives you exact word choices. It's really good stuff. So how many of you have looked at that recruiting piece on PCU? If you haven't, take a couple minutes this week and take a peek at it. We'll continue to divvy into that. So anyone recruited this week? Yay! Yay! Unmute yourself. Who just raised their hand? Rebecca! So yay, congratulations.
Thank you. She's actually signing on Friday, but she's already set up her launch party and everything, so I'm excited.
Where did you meet her?
I actually met her at a vendor event, and
okay.
Got to talking to her, and she was really excited, so I was excited, so she was excited.
Yep, that's how it works. And don't forget vendor events. In fact, I'm so glad you said that. So 2 things before we go. I put help wanted ads on everything. This is a June order form. Can you see the help wanted ad on the bottom? It's a little sticker I just add there before I make copies of it. And most of the time I don't have them in color, but I have that little help wanted there. I have this help wanted here on my catalog. This is where Cindy came from. Cindy's on our team here. And she saw that and she just left it there and it kept bugging at her and she was like, okay. So you should be actively doing help wanted. And there we go. I love it. See that bag? Erin, that's why she's building that team so quickly. She's walking around with the help wanted bag. So make sure you and your paperwork and everything that comes out of your office, your answering machines, whatever, is a walking advertisement, not only for Pampered Chef and hosting and products, but also for our business. Okay? Listen, make it a great week, everyone. We are so proud of you. Thank you all for joining me tonight. And keep in touch. Be sure to post your Wahoo Wednesdays and keep recruiting. We're going to have a drawing Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday. Homework's due tomorrow. All right, guys, have a great one. Bye-bye.